I didn't exactly expect to be single and childless at 40, but looking back, there were signs. For example, when I was little, I didn't ever fantasize about a wedding. I didn't really think about that. I didn't like play with my dolls and like make them get married. It just like wasn't a thing that really ran across my mind as a child. Um, but I did notice that it was a big theme with like a lot of the other little girls that I would play with, and I took note of that really early on as a child. Now, what I did have is I would have like these insane, intense crushes. Like, I can remember one of my first crushes was on this kid on my brother's baseball team. And it was like I would just stand at that chain link fence watching him play. Like he was just the center of my whole entire universe. And I was literally an 8-year old in overalls. I've also always been like low key really very afraid of pregnancy. And I know that a lot of women deal with this and like it's just kind of a hump that they get over. I have been pregnant and I did do everything I was supposed to do and like I wished, I was hoping that everything would work out and it just didn't work out for me. But I still, like, even in the process of that, like, I was still very, very fearful of something growing inside of me, the process of giving birth, having to take care of something else for 9 months, like, on the inside of my body. Just the prospect of that was very intense for me to think about, I think, as a kid. And even as an adult, like, obviously I would do what I had to do. It's still something in the back of my head I'm very, very afraid of, okay? Another sign is I've always felt like when I'm in a relationship with somebody that I'm sort of living an out of body experience. Like it's almost like I am a character in that person's video game, if that makes sense. Okay, the fourth thing is both of my parents are kind of like loners. And as much as we hate to admit it, we are a lot like our parents, right? So my parents got divorced and they both have neither have remarried. And really, when they were together, they didn't spend a whole lot of time together. My mom was busy being mom to 5 kids, and my dad was busy working. He had his own business. So, like, it was almost like we were ships passing in the night on a lot of days. But they both, like me, we can spend so much time alone, so much time by ourselves. When I was in my 20s, I very much did live for getting a relationship and finding like a marriage partner. It was very much like, I think, instilled in me. But there was so many little micro actions that I would like sort of catch myself in to where it was like I was fighting and pushing against it. So it was almost like something was drilled into me and there was this internal monologue that was like pushing against the grain of it. And there were guys that I deeply cared for and there were guys that deeply cared for me, but it was like never on the same wavelength. And I felt like the guys that I did have really strong feelings for was never like reciprocated or requited in the way that I needed it to be, obviously, to take it to like a marriage level. And the last one I'll add is I have this terrible ability of zoning out, especially when I get very comfortable in a relationship. Like, I will catch myself either like just kind of like zoning out of whatever they're doing in their life or like zoning out of a conversation or just kind of just like checking out. And then like I'll be like, oh wow, I have spent a lot of time by myself. Like it's like I would catch myself not, I would catch myself wanting to be by myself. So, all in all, it's like not that much of a surprise. I'm not as offended as I thought I would be. If you would have told me in my 20s that I was going to be single, I probably would have keeled over and passed away. The whole time that I've had has really cultivated like this thing inside me that has made me so resilient and has made me really put up these boundaries. And now I really know what I want in life. And the reason I'm alone is because my standards are higher. I'm choosing myself. And that's like something I think as an eldest sister, I'm really proud of myself for getting here, honestly. The world is finally laying before me in a way that I can conquer it correctly. But now that I'm about to be 40, man, there's such a pressure that's like off of me because it's like, okay, I don't have to have either one of those things to genuinely be happy. In fact, when I had partnerships that were wrong, I was so unbelievably unhappy. and I was like a shell of myself, and I had forgotten myself, and I had absorbed into who that other person was. Like I said, like genuinely, it feels like I am a video game character in their game, and it's like I've logged off of whatever I've got set up for myself. And I think especially for a woman that's in a good partnership, that guy is not going to take your focus off of what is making you who you are. Take that for what it is, I guess, from a 40-year-old, but there's just so much more to life, and I never would have guessed that when I was younger. So, peace.